So you can see clearly that there are other people in the media who have seen that there's something wrong with what we've been taught in this country, and they're trying to get it across to you, but unfortunately most people don't see it, don't pay attention to it, haven't got time for it, and we could go on forever. Book 4 then is an attempt to help you understand why you don't see it, help you understand that what they're saying is true, that the United States is no longer the greatest country in the world, and most any other country you go to would tell you that. So what we have is we have Book 4. Book 4, and yet first thing you ask is, what about 1, 2, and 3? And what is given here is that Book 1, 2, and 3 are more like class books, in that you really have to know quite a bit about philosophy, if you will, or why we're here, or what life's all about, before these things make any sense to you, or at least you have to be a serious studying student. And, just anybody that happens to run across this is not necessarily going to be a serious studying student. So what we have here is Book 4, and Book 4 is not a classroom type book. Book 4 is a book about your life, just the way it is. They're going to talk about the things that are wrong with your life and the ways to correct them. So that the second thing that you would begin to ask then is, where did this come from? And in Book 1, 2, and 3, they kind of go over the where did it come from pretty well. But one of the things that they kind of give you, or the information here at the very beginning, is kind of strange. And what it basically is an understanding of the fact that you've been taught through very skillful teaching certain things that really aren't all that true. And to give you an example of it, the information given here, the information and the source of that information said there's a big difference between form and content, and like, who cares? And what's that got to do with what we're talking about here? And, on and on. Why are we even paying any attention? They said there's a big difference between form and content. Okay, what in the world does that mean? And who cares? So I'm reading what they said. They said, you are taught form in school and on in your education, and forever, even after education, you are taught form. Form is the main thing. Whatever you're dealing with, be it a video, news, reading something, it has to look nice, has to flow correctly, has to be spelled correctly, and on and on and on. Where is content taught? How do you get the true content of the written word? Why are we not taught how to focus on content rather than all the razzle-dazzle of the written word? And here's what they say, and here's where we get to the point. The razzle-dazzle of the written word, the content of, the form of the movies, the form of the news. Why is it the way it is, and why do you only pay attention to the proper form? And that they say because only the very wealthy can afford to do it in that proper manner and do it well. Now, do you see where they're going? They're telling you, you've been taught that it has to look nice, flow correctly, be spelled correctly, it has to have proper form, it should be not too long, flash, 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 news, flash, 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 movies, flash, 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 because your attention span is only about that long, and you're taught. You're actually taught to have very short attention span. Now, why would that be? The first suggestion would be that if you wanted to read something, you have to have an attention span longer than 30 seconds. And if you're being taught that 30 seconds is max, then you're being taught not to read. If you're being taught to watch the news flash, flash, flash. You're being taught don't pay any attention to the people that can't afford to flash, flash, flash it. Do you get the point that they're making? So what they're saying is, and I say, so if I understand this right, you're being taught to read and listen to only the very wealthy. And what a sneaky way to keep us from knowing anything. What a sneaky way. I mean, think about it. You're being taught to only pay attention to what the very wealthy can afford to give. And so that puts you into the position where you only pay attention to the wealthy. The wealthy are the people that we'll be talking about here, and those are the people that we're going to try to get you clear on with your understanding who they are and what they're doing. The second or the third thing, the thing that they want to get across next then is who are they? And again, the same thing is true. You've got all these people that are channeling these aliens and all doing this and all that weird stuff, and it's all quackery, and everybody knows it's, not everybody knows, but most people know it's quackery and it's fake. And they say, well, the world's going to come to an end, but the aliens saved us, and come on. I mean, you can't believe all that garbage. You got these people that are on the television or on the internet mostly now that are saying, oh, they're going to this and they're going to that, and it doesn't happen, and 2012 and the 2000, the world's coming to an end. Sure. And none of it happens, so you stop paying attention to them, and that's the program. Like the written word, where you don't pay any attention to the content, you only pay attention to the form, and if the form isn't perfect, you don't read it. If the form isn't perfect on news media, you don't listen to it. If the form isn't perfect on movies, you just don't buy it. You don't go, you don't pay, you don't do anything with it. If you hear that something's channeled, you don't pay attention to it. Of course, it's like, all the things that they don't want you to deal with, they make fun of. Were there giants on the earth? The Bible said there was, but you go to any scientist and they'll tell you absolutely not. But there were. They have skeletons of giants all over the place, but hidden. Those are conspiracy theorist type things, and they've been taught you over and over again, do not pay any attention to those conspiracy people, because